Have you ever dreamt of starting your own business, but there's just something stopping you from doing it? Well, I wanted to know what that might be, so I asked around and I was so shocked when most of the people following me told me their biggest concern was not making enough money to justify the risk. And now that is the worst reason for not starting. So in this video, I want to show you what happened to me when I finally started my office cleaning business so that you can understand that not only will you get everything back that you put in, but you're going to get so much more. And then I'm going to give you 3 reasons you need to start today, not tomorrow. Okay, so why is this fear of starting your cleaning business? Why is it completely irrational? Well, let me take you back to my 9-to-5 days. Every day felt exactly like the last one. I'd wake up, I'd commute to a job I didn't care about, and then I would sit in meetings that meant nothing to me. And then I would count down the hours until I could finally go home again. See, there was no passion, no purpose, no excitement, just hollow feelings that I was wasting my life making someone else rich while I stayed stuck in the same place year after year. And the worst part, it was the fear. The constant worry that I can get laid off at any moment, that all of my financial security could vanish with one conversation with AR. See, I had no control over my life and I was trading my time, the only thing I could never get back, for a paycheck that barely covered the bills. See, I remember sitting at my desk one day thinking, is this it? Is this what it's going to be the next 40 years? And that, my friends, is when it hit me. This brings us to the first lesson. The real risk isn't starting a business and failing. It's staying exactly where you are. See, you know what you hear from people who are old and gray? They share the same regrets over and over, and it's never, oh, I wish I hadn't started that business. No, it's always, I wish I had taken more chances. I wish I had been braver. I wish I hadn't played it so safe. See, nobody on their deathbed says, I'm so glad I stayed at that soul-crushing job for 40 years. So it was that breakthrough when I decided to start my office cleaning business. See, I'm not going to lie. It was terrifying. I did it the foolish way. I left the job too early when I should have just kept it and did the office cleaning at night. Anyway, here we are. I had jumped. And there was moments where I thought, this is crazy. What am I doing here? This is so silly. But here's what kept me in the game. For my wife and I, it was all about the freedom. And we knew if we kept the course, if we stayed the course, we would continuously grow and we would finally be free. Was it a perfect plan out of the gate? No. We ended up getting sucked into the cleaning because we didn't know any better. So we cleaned weekends, we cleaned nights, and we were working to the bone. But you know what? My wife and I, we kept saying to ourselves, we'd rather be working to the bone because it's for us. And we know that eventually this is going to pay off and give us everything we've ever wanted. Better to do that than to put all this energy into a company that doesn't feel that love for you. And then ultimately, you've wasted all that work and you end up resenting a company. See, we didn't want that. So we were perfectly happy working our tails off. And here's another thing that used to always inspire my wife and I on the tougher nights in the very beginning. We did the math. Because if you look at the math, even if it took us 5 to 10 years to build something real, something big, then we would still have 30 to 40 years left in our lives to enjoy the freedom that we created. And you know what's crazy? Do you know what actually happened? Well, things changed faster than we ever could have imagined because it didn't take 5 years. It didn't take 10 years. It took 6 months for massive traction. A year later, 2 years later, we were completely different people. So were the first few months rough and scary? Absolutely. And I would argue because we were doing a lot of things wrong. But the payoff was massive and life-changing because once we figured it out, we were able to scale our office cleaning business relatively quickly. And so for us, once we finally started getting that traction, before we knew it, we hired a few employees and then we were completely off of the cleaning. That is how fast it could actually be. This isn't the type of business that you need to go into massive debt for like you would if you were starting a restaurant or something like that. No, this is a business that you can get going for a few $1,000s and actually go make a real impact, go make a real dent and help locally in your community, which is also a great sense of pride. Now, here's my second lesson. you will massively underestimate what's possible. Now, I went from barely scraping by with my wife to having more financial security than I ever had at my 9 to 5 in the next 8 months from starting. But more importantly, we got our freedom back. And then we got to choose our own schedule. And ultimately, we got to build something that could never be taken away from us by some corporate restructuring. See, I didn't have to worry about layoffs, office politics, or asking permission to take a vacation. See, for the first time in my adult life, I felt like I had purpose. I was excited to wake up in the morning. I had passion again. And the money? Well, yeah, that followed once we stopped trading our time for dollars and we started building real equity into something that we actually owned. And here's another thing no one tells you. Once you start building, opportunities multiply. Other business owners want to work with you. People ask for your advice. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. See, your whole life transformed because you stopped waiting for permission and you started creating your own path. Now, the third reason you need to start today is the easiest it'll ever be, because tomorrow there's going to be more competition. And next year, cost will be higher. Every single day you wait, you're making it harder on yourself. And if you're sitting there unhappy with where you are with no clear path, here's some tough truth. This is a choice you're making. And look, I get it, starting is scary, but you know what's scarier? Being in the same place 10 years from now, wondering what could have been. Sitting in the same cubicle, having the same emptiness, having those same regrets. See, the people who succeeded aren't smarter than you. They aren't luckier than you. They're just willing to take action when everyone else is paralyzed by fear. See, they'd rather try and learn than wonder, what if? So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop making excuses. Your future self is begging you to start today. Take the first step, whatever it is, because the life that you actually want is on the other side of that action. If you're new to me, then you are definitely going to want to watch this video because it is going to give you some no-brainer baby steps that you can take today and start making money with this business. If you're not new to me and been thinking about it for a little while, a first step for you possibly is working with me and my team. But it all starts with a phone call just to see if we're a good fit. Click the first link in the description if that sounds like you. For everyone else, I'll see you on the next video.